Game copy provided by Activision. Anyone who grew up during the console wars of the 90s knows that the Sony PlayStation had two champions, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. However, their stars fell quickly as they rose. And as the next console generation came, their new games became synonymous with platforming mediocrity. Fortunately, Crash and Spyro were not doomed to stay there. Last year, we saw Crash come back from the ashes, and now Spyro is set to do the same with the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which includes improved graphics and tweaked controls for the original Spyro games. I'm really looking forward to re-experiencing Spyro the Dragon 1, as we all remember him when I re-complete Spyro the Dragon from the Reignited Trilogy. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Completionist New Game Plus, a show in which I'm recompleting the first 120 episodes from the original Completionist lineup. More on that in the description down below. I'll be real with you guys, I am not the biggest Spyro guy. I have been a huge fan of Crash Bandicoot, that's been my boy the whole time, but when it came to the original Spyro, I gave it an honest and clean look, and really at the end of the day, I really liked it. It was rewarding, it was fun, it was great. But now, we got this bad boy done in an HD remaster collection, and let me tell ya, it looks awesome. So with that said, let's begin. If you wanted your console to have any kind of presence in the 90s, you had to have some kind of mascot platformer. Nintendo and Sega achieved this by developing their own characters internally. However, Sony took a different approach. They reached out to third-party developers. The first major success came with Crash Bandicoot from Naughty Dog. The next came from across the hall at Insomniac Games. Now, Insomniac was a company that had only one game under its belt, the critically loved but poor-selling Disruptor. With some advice from Naughty Dog, Insomniac developed Spyro the Dragon to cater to a younger demographic. Man, it's crazy seeing these two huge companies working together and being best friends before they were some of the biggest names around. It's kind of like finding out that Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert were best friends before they were famous. Wait, they were? And everybody knows that already? Huh. After a few successful Spyro games, Insomniac sold the Spyro rights to Activision and moved on to make many more critically successful series, including Ratchet & Clank and the newest Spider-Man game. But what happened to Spyro? Activision tried to recreate that platforming magic with both Spyro and Crash games, but instead wound up with some mediocrity. Whenever people talked about Spyro, they wouldn't talk about Enter the Dragonfly or the Legend of Spyro Trilogy. They would say, oh yeah, those first three games were awesome. I wonder what happened to them. Even Elijah Wood, who provided the voice for the next generation of Spyro, couldn't save those games. And he defeated the greatest villain of all, Macaulay Culkin. Then in 2011, Skylanders released. Now, Skylanders is an action figure video game hybrid that is immensely popular. Like, we're talking millions and millions of copies sold popular. And hey, wait a minute. Isn't that Spyro? He used to be awesome. What's he doing here? Essentially, fans were pissed off. They didn't want the toys. They wanted Spyro. They wanted fire and gliding. There were riots in the street. Cars were on fire. People died, okay? Okay, I didn't get that out of hand, but original fans were still pretty bummed. They wanted the original Spyro back. Was that so hard? Then, Skylanders developer Toys for Bob teamed up with Vicarious Visions to release a pack of games that no one saw coming. Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, and gamers everywhere rejoiced. But immediately, everyone had the exact same thought. Does that mean that we are in fact getting a remastered Spyro the Dragon trilogy? Toys for Bob then did the unthinkable. They did something that even big companies like LucasArts and Nintendo rarely do. They listened to the fans. But they didn't just announce Spyro Remastered. That would be way too easy. In April of 2018, various YouTube and video game personalities across the globe received a purple egg in the mail, and with that egg was a card that read, "Something's about to hatch, signed Falcon McBob." And if you search the internet for Falcon McBob, you were brought to the Spyro Twitter account. Now that, my friends, is where I stopped paying attention altogether. Not because I was bitter that I didn't receive a Spyro egg or anything. I mean, I was, but that's not the point. I was stoked. So stoked that I didn't want anything spoiled for me. Now, I had an absolute blast the first time I completed Spyro the Dragon on the PS1. And that's saying a lot because I never played the original when I was a kid. In fact, I felt that Spyro was 95% of a great game, and that last 5% was the poor camera controls that led to a lot of leaps of faith and blocky graphics, which were held back more due to the PlayStation than anything else. But I'm still really excited to recomplete Spyro. I'm expecting this process to be as easy and enjoyable as the first time around. First, I'm gonna have to finish the story, and that means saving all the dragons as I go. And since they are giant-shaped crystals on a flat plane, I'm really not too worried about that. After that, I'm gonna finish up collecting all of the gems, which there are literally thousands. I mean, I know they're mostly just lying on the ground, but come on. Next up, I'm gonna have to collect the stolen dragon eggs. While there are a lot less of these than dragons or gems, a lot more work goes into hunting down the thieves who stole them than just picking up shiny rocks off the floor. And finally, I'm gonna have to take care of some things added to the remastered edition. Since Spyro has been updated to be a more modern game, that means it gets more modern sensibilities, meaning things like skill points and trophies. But at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to this. Spyro the Dragon is not known for being a difficult game to complete, so adding a little extra challenge is going to make this revisit a little more interesting. It's kind of the same as taking a trip to Disneyland. If you go to Disneyland all the time like I do, it gets kind of boring. But then you learn that every ride has hidden Mickeys all over the place, and your whole trip becomes a game in itself. The place in Haunted Mansion make a Mickey head, and the same with the cannonball holes on Pirates of the Caribbean. And now you're looking even closer at all of the beautiful art created for the ride. Oh man, now I want to go to Spyroland. It'd be a blast. Spend $5, get to torch a sheep, eat a funnel cake in the shape of some butterflies, go to the Lost and Found and argue with Moneybags because he doesn't have my nephew, even though I told my nephew to meet me at Moneybags' damn hut. You have my nephew, give him back! When Toys for Bob said that they remastered the Spyro trilogy, there was a definite emphasis on mastered. From the very first cutscene, you can see all of the effort made to improve the game. The game starts off with the adult dragons filming a documentary about the state of the Dragon Kingdom. They badmouth nasty Nork, who's the villain of the game, and he gets angry and turns all the dragons into crystals. Except for Spyro, whose job it is to rescue all the dragons and recover all of their stolen treasure. Pretty simple plot, but it still gives you enough motivation to start saving dragons. Just a quick question though, what the hell is a Nork? According to the devs, a Nork is a combination of a gnome and an orc, even though he just really looks like a weird orc. Well, it's apparent that alliteration is more important than accuracy. Now, the look of the original Spyro game, in my opinion, hasn't really aged well. Everything looked super blocky and polygonal. That is absolutely not the case in the Reignited Trilogy. In fact, I was in awe as soon as I started playing it. All of the new detail along with the way everything flows, it's just truly beautiful. This is especially true with each of the dragons you save. Originally, they were different colors of the same generic dragon model, and because of that, saving them really killed the pace, especially with great one-liners like this.
Thank you for releasing me.
Or what about this one?
Thank you for releasing me.
And my all-time favorite classic.
Thank you for releasing me.
You know, for that one, they didn't even change out the sound clip. It's the exact same sound clip. But now, each dragon has its own unique design that really gives them personality. Plus, the voice acting for the dragons is so much better. I actually got excited to see what each dragon was going to look and sound like when I saved them.
Spyro, some big Norks up ahead are wearing armor. And in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
The levels themselves also look astronomically better. There are layers and patterns where it once seemed bland and flat. Every world has come to life and made me want to explore them as much as possible. What was once just a green patch on the wall now looks like a grassy field that leads to adventure. And even Spyro himself has some insane detail. Look at his tail! He's wagging it in the grass! Technology! I know everyone's already talked about this a lot, but you can even affect the environment. Spyro's fire creates burn patches all over the place. The levels were originally designed to take advantage of the PlayStation's 3D capabilities, but suffered some issues with the camera and graphics. I can't count how many times I would leap to my death just because the camera got right behind me and I couldn't see what was coming up. And the shoulder button's camera control was pretty bad. Now you have complete control of the camera with the right analog stick, and the details in the graphics make it a lot easier to see the edges of platforms. This is especially evident in the treetops level. When I originally played this level years ago, it took an hour of my life to perfect and beat it. Now, barely 15 to 20 minutes. However, there is one graphical issue I have to bring up. Even though the game has amazing graphics, in the Reignited Trilogy, people are suffering from a motion blur and it's making people feel nauseous. While I personally have not had this issue happen to me, I feel like it's important to let people know that they might be puking. But come on, I mean, the only issue is that the game looks too good, right? I think we as a people can make do. Maybe even one day either patch out the motion blur as an option or just start puking all the time. Either way, it's a win-win. I mean, it doesn't feel great to puke, but you know what I mean. The game doesn't just look great, it sounds great too. Tom Kenny is back from Spyro 2 and 3 to reprise his role as Spyro. And this time around, he sounds like a great combo of the spunk from the first game and the youth from the next two.
Destiny? I just want to kick some.
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
Young and spunky, you sure we're not playing Spinelli the Dragon? The thing that aged the best from the first game, and was in fact one of my most favorite things about the original trilogy, was the music. Stuart Copeland, the drummer from The Police, returned to the Reignited Trilogy to update his orchestrations. And personally, I think they sound even better than before. However, if you don't like the updated sound and want to relive that nostalgic Amanda Show style goodness, you can always go to the menu and change it back to the original. Damn, Toys for Bob, stop catering to fans. You're making everyone else look bad. Needless to say, everything about the reignited Spyro the Dragon looks and sounds amazing. Everything looks incredible and every single sound is satisfying. But now for the most important question, how does the game play? Well, it plays amazing. It controls even better than the original in my eyes. You have all the original moves that make Spyro Spyro. You got your fire breath, your head charge, and your glide. And now the musical arrangement changes based on Spyro's actions. So if Spyro's doing the head charge attack, the music gets a massive increase in percussion. God, that's so sick. Of course, we also have Sparks the Dragonfly. Now here's the thing about Sparks. I think Sparks is the best thing ever when it comes to minimalist design choices for showing off a life bar in a game. His color serves as your life bar, and he also helps you grab gems and other collectibles within range. But wait, there's more. Toys for Bob also gave Sparks a new ability that pinpoints any gems you haven't collected yet. Sparks was cool before, but now he's infinitely more useful. Just make sure to keep him healthy by feeding him butterflies. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Butterflies and dragonflies are the same size. All right, let me just see this one moment. Huh, it actually does make sense. Apparently dragonflies also eat mosquitoes, other dragonflies, and the larvae sometimes even eat fish. Ugh, now I'm not sure what's scarier, dragonflies or spiders. No, spiders. Definitely spiders. What the hell am I saying? Another awesome addition to the Reignited Trilogy is the option of having a mini-map on the screen. This was not in the original Spyro, but was in the other two games. I originally thought this might make the game too easy, but it actually made the whole experience much more enjoyable. Each world also has a level that gives you the ability to fly instead of just gliding. These serve as time trials where you fly through hoops, flame enemies, light towers, amongst many other objectives. This is a nice change of pace and it never overstays its welcome. However, it is one of the most difficult things to do in the game. And when it comes to the Reignited Trilogy, the flying mechanics have changed just a little bit. It's not that difficult, but it will take you a little while to get used to the controls. None of the enemies or bosses are particularly difficult. In fact, I would even say that there are no bosses in this game at all almost. The only things you need to keep track of are that big enemies can't be charged and enemies wearing metal cannot be burned. And if they're big and covered in metal, just charge along a path with arrows on it and ram them even harder. Gotta build that supercharge in and go for that tackle, Brett Favre style. Brett Favre is that he's a quarterback, right? He's not a guy who tackles people. The bosses are just as easy as regular enemies, and honestly, they don't feel like bosses. The only one that even remotely feels interesting was Metalhead, but that's mostly because giant robots are fucking awesome. Just ask Guillermo del Toro or Michael Bay. But Spyro isn't really about fighting bosses and enemies. It's about collecting, and collecting is simple yet satisfying. Your main quest is obviously to find all of the dragons, but you're going to be spending more time picking up gems. You get gems by killing enemies, breaking chests, and just picking them off the ground. There are hundreds of gems in each level, and I remember that it used to be such a pain in the ass when you were only missing a gem or two, but now with your mini-map and your Spark Star, that frustration is gone. However, the hardest collectible in the game is the dragon eggs. There are only 12 of them, but each one is being carried by a super fast thief that is constantly taunting you. Their little na-na-na-na is infuriating. But it makes it so much more satisfying when you burn their asses. Yeah, that's what you get, son. That's what you get. Na-na-na burned you. The only new addition to the first game to link it to the other two games are objectives known as skill points. These actually can be difficult because some of them are pretty out of the way from the regular game. For example, all balls stuck. Great, stuck where? At home? On a math problem? On you? I don't know. Don't get your ball stuck. However, once you figure them out on your own, it feels pretty good. It's like doing a puzzle without Dad's help, and I did it all by myself. Except my stream chat told me how to do all of them, so thanks, Dad! Now, most of the trophies in the game can be completed just by completing the game, but every single stage has a specific trophy that requires a specific task. There are some extra ones that are a little bit out of the way, but everything is relatively easy. However, I do have one massive warning. There is currently a glitch for when you are completing the game. If you're going for that all gems trophy, make sure to leave at least a couple of gems back to grab before you beat the game. As of November 2018, if you collect every collectible and then beat the final level, you will not get the I'm in the money achievement or trophy. So, to be safe, leave a couple gems behind as collateral. Collecting all of these things are a ton of fun. It's always great to complete a game that feels rewarding just for playing it. You feel motivated to collecting each item, whether it be to see a cutscene, hear the sound of breaking chests, or just to get those damn thieves to leave my shit alone. Get out of here! No one likes when you do that! You're like, what, like 100 years old and you're taunting me? I'm a fire-breathing dragon. I will murder you. Do you have any friends? I bet you're in a WhatsApp group or a Discord and you mention each other like every 3 months being like, yo, this was cool, right? That's what you do. That's what you do. Spyro does completion right by giving you the best reward you can get for doing everything in a game. More game. Collecting all of the dragons, gems, and eggs gives you access to Nasty's loot, a level that's all about hunting down thieves and collecting 2,000 gems. It's a ton of fun, and it feels good to get all of those tasty, tasty gems. Getting all the trophies is just for bragging rights. However, getting all the skill points in the game will grant you access to several pages of concept art. Yay for artists! Completing the game will grant you a total of 120% on the main screen. I said earlier that when I first played Spyro all those years ago, I thought that it was a great 95% of a good game and was being held back by the graphics and the camera controls. Well, Toys for Bob has come in and fixed that 5% for me, and I want Bob to know that he should be very proud of his toys. When I recompleted Spyro the Dragon, there were 14 deaths, 80 dragons saved, 14,000 gems collected, 12 dragon eggs recovered, 14 skill points earned, 37 trophies unlocked, 7 hours of total playtime, and 0 Count them. 0 Spyro eggs mailed to me. Come on, Toys for Bob. It would have been great to work with me. I have a great name. Are you ready for it? I could have been Gerard Khalilsi. Yeah? Yeah? I tried. Toys for Bob took everything that fans of the original Spyro trilogy wanted and improved it to the nth degree. Spyro looks better, plays better, and has been an absolute joy to complete. If you've never played any of the original Spyro games and you're looking to jump into this is a fine example of a remaster done right that pays perfect homage to what the original was. Welcome back, Spyro. Now, can we please get new Spyro and Crash games with these expensive-ass engines already? We're ready, baby. Let's go. Spyro the Dragon was a fantastic game that I had 0 nostalgia for. And replaying it again, the nostalgia I ended up having from playing it the first time is here again. In better graphics, better gameplay, overall better presentation. I really think that, maybe this is just me saying it from the sake that I wasn't a massive Spyro fan from the beginning, I think this remaster is perfect. And I think those of you guys looking to get into it, do I start with the original? Do I start with the new stuff? I think you're perfectly great starting with the new stuff, or the retelling of the new stuff. The remaster is what I'm saying. So, with that in mind, guys, I still give this game my completionist rating of complete it.
Complete it!
That's all the time we have for today, guys. So please, as always, let me know what you think about the episode today somewhere on the internet, either down in the comments below or on Twitter or wherever you feel comfortable letting me know. I've been Gerard the Completionist. If you like the video, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, click or tap that bad boy with your phone if that's what you're doing. Are you on the phone? Click or tap that baby. Click or tap that baby. Click or tap that baby. I've been Gerard. Have a great weekend. Bye.